So let's see. So Nile is a dancer and a teacher, yes? And I'll let you give all of your lists of things that are part of your identity. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, so hello, thank you for coming out. My name is Nile. My full name is Nile Alicia Ruff. I often use that as my stage name. I am a dancer and a dance teacher, and I'm a human being. And I also like to think of myself as a someone who likes to bring joy to others. So I try to be as engaged as I possibly can in my environment, all in an effort to just bring joy and let the collective energy of me and other people I'm around like just be lifted up. I live in Dayton, Ohio right now. I, for 4 years, was dancing with Dayton Contemporary Dance Company. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. That's where I learned how to dance. And I danced with an African dance troupe there and a ballet school there. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts, which is an art school. They had a great dance program. And then I went on to college at Point Park University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was there for 4 years and then went to New York, did A-Leaf for a year, and then did some company jobs in Pittsburgh, Chicago, and then Dayton, Ohio. And currently I'm still in Dayton, Ohio. I recently left the company, but I have fallen in love with the community around me. So I'm here just loving on people, having people love on me in like the most platonic way, and just sharing art with the people around me.
Thank you, Nile. So we're going to dive into questions and our discussion in a second. But first, I want to share a video of Nile's dance work that she shared with me. That's so beautiful. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So just give me 1 second. Bear with me. see where we want to start. So I guess just to keep it very general to start, and then we can go from there. In thinking about your artwork and your work as a dancer, as an artist, and I'm wondering if you how you feel about your identity as an artist, and then separate from that, and if there's like a big difference from, you know, how you create and when you're creating, and then separately just in everyday life and what that identity means to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I remember my mom taking me to different doctor's offices, just regular checkups. And the doctors would be like, "So what do you do?" And I would say, "Well, I dance." And my mom would always, when they would leave the room, my mom would always be like, "Why don't you say you're a dancer, Nile?" And I would be like, "Oh, well, I don't really know if I fit into what other people see as a dancer. Like, I'm 6, I'm kind of short. I also I've taken ballet a lot, but I also find my most comfortable movement inside of modern and West African. So I would always be like, I don't really know. And then same thing with artistry. Like, I grew up in Washington, D.C. in the 90s and the 2000s, which at the time was very Black, and like Black art everywhere. You heard about Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, that type of vibe. And like, I didn't feel like I connected to that either. So I wouldn't call myself an artist or a dancer for a very long time. But now that I'm older, and now that I've worked as a dancer, and also now that I just have come into myself more, I can see that I am an artist. And it doesn't feel separate from my identity, because I feel artistic when I'm in my everyday interactions, how I choose to say hello to somebody, what I choose to notice about someone if I'm in a conversation with them, how I choose to, what comes with being an artist is a freedom of expression, I believe, and also being present. And so how I just naturally want to be present, how I naturally want to express myself freely than how I did yesterday, or different than how I did yesterday, or different than what I'm seeing around me. So it feels like my artistry and my identity are united. Yeah, did I answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So to follow up on that, and I was talking with Kristani the other day on Wednesday. I had the first event of the week with Kristani Paul, who's a visual artist. And she was talking about how she went through all of these. I mean, I think there are waves when you're an artist, right? And, you know, growing up, and we're pretty young. And so coming into your artistry and yourself kind of has these parallels, you know. And I was talking about and thinking about, you know, how you learn about yourself and yourself as an artist, and those develop and grow in tandem. And so I feel like that's part of what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. And also that, you know, when Kristani was talking about wanting to be fully themselves and coming into their queerness and coming into their identity as a trans person, and, you know, feeling like needing to be fully themselves was very important as a visual artist, because how can you really, you know, try to see the fullness of a person and capture them when you yourself don't feel like you're being completely yourself, and you're disconnected in some way. So I'm interested to know, what has that coming into yourself felt like, or what, if there was a catalyst, or what that sort of exploration has been like.
Yeah, I think the catalyst was a heartbreak. I am in the LGBTQIA plus community, and I have a history of dating women that are not in that community. Even though they're dating me, they are not in that community. And that comes with not knowing whether it's going to be long-term relationship, y'all not being public, things like that. And also them wanting me to look differently than how I wanted to present myself, which constantly is just negating who I am. So I lived in that state for a very, very long time, and with one person for 4 years. And I felt like she was the closest person I had ever like gotten to or fallen in love with. And then she broke up with me, and I didn't love her in a way that supported me loving myself. So when she broke up with me, I felt that I didn't know who I was. Everything I knew was gone. I had to rebuild myself. And in the process of rebuilding myself, luckily, I had a wonderful group around me. I'm a part of SGI USA. It's a Buddhist organization here in America. I had them in my neighborhood. I also had my family and my friends. My wonderful mom trying to encourage me to meet other people. So they were always able to see more than I could see of myself, and they were always supporting me, and I just gradually built myself up again. And I wanted to build myself and love who I was building, and also be true to who I was building. And my mentor, his name is SGI President Ikeda, he's the president of this Buddhist organization. He always talks about being true to yourself. And I'm like that, just seeing encouragement like that all the time just reminds me, okay, I have to do this. I have to be true to myself. So when I finally got over that breakup, I discovered that I was the person of my dreams. Like I had built myself to be the person I love. And it took that breakup to be able for me to do that. And I appreciate her so much. We're still good friends. We talk every now and then. But really, that breakup allowed me to rebuild. And in the process of rebuilding, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to love it. And I'm going to do it in a way most true to myself. So, yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting how you feel like something's falling apart and it's actually so helpful in the long run. But when it happens, you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Why? And then it's great most of the time. But I love what you said also about I am the person of my dreams. That's just like somebody put that on a shirt and a hat and like tell everybody. I really appreciate that you reflected that back to us. Thank you. And so you feel like you're much more in tune with yourself, like fully now?
Yeah, definitely. I still have moments when I may not be, there's more for me to come out, or there's more self-love I need to do. But I remember this one conversation that I had with myself during this breakup, and it has come back again now that I'm dating somebody else. But the conversation it was like after I had like tried to support myself on a daily basis, and the girl was in and out my life, and like I was just holding on to her, and then she came back in my life, and I threw stuff away so that I could spend time with her, and then she left again. And I don't know what happened, but I said to myself, how dare you? How dare you put that person before me? I wake you up every day. I brush your teeth, put clothes on you. I get you out of bed. I got you through work. Work was hard today. Now, how dare you put that person before me? And so, like, that conversation comes back every now and then. But I feel like I'm there. And the love that I've built within myself is just so strong. So, yeah, really grateful for that.
I love this self-talk. I love everything about it. So in terms of your work, right? I wonder, I think about, as a dancer or as an actor if you're not actively doing work that you've created, right? Like you're the vessel, you're doing someone else's work. You know, you're meant to dance rather than choreograph sometimes. As an actor, I'm meant to get the script that someone else has written most of the time and perform it. So I'm interested in, you know, if there's any moments where you feel like that understanding of yourself is reflected in your work, even if it's not a work that you've created necessarily, but you're creating as the dancer. So I'm interested in this world because I'm not a dancer in the way that you are. I mean, I dance around in my room sometimes to Beyonce, but you know, so I'm interested in that and what that sense of self and identity, if at all, if it affects, you know, how you create in the rehearsal room and what you're emoting in dances, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. It's interesting because typically as a dancer in a what is it, a concert dance world, or like just doing choreography of somebody else's, you are stepping into somebody else's vision. And for a long time, I was hoping that I could help bring together someone else's vision, or was good enough to do that. And being in the company I was just in, it's a company that has a lot of different reps. It's a rep company, meaning we do a lot of different styles, a lot of different choreographic pieces, and we might do them all on the same docket, on the same show. So you have to jump in and out of whoever choreographed it, whatever their idea and dream and theme is. And I will say I've had a hard time with that. I've in developing myself, most recently, I've had a hard time with that. I think that's what prompted me leaving the company, because it felt that my artistic vision didn't align with the director of this company's artistic vision. And it took me a while to be okay with that. And we had a lot of fights, a lot of arguments. And I decided that I want to be somewhere where my vision aligns with the director's vision, or the vision of the people I work with. And I think it's possible as a dancer for me and for other dancers, to be able to be their whole selves inside of someone else's work. I think we have to do, I don't know if y'all have heard that thing where like you're going on an interview, but you're also doing an interview too. Like, I think I have to do more of that. I have to really look at these companies or these choreographers I'm pursuing and say like, okay, does who this person is align with who I am or who I want to be or the woman that I want to become? Does their artistry align with the artistry I want to present? And that may change. I think that's going to change for me as I go along, and it has changed so far. But yeah, I think I have to ask myself those questions in order for it to be possible.
Yeah, I appreciate that thought as well. And that idea of interviewing, when you're like, you go in for an interview and you also really need to check out what's going on. And I feel like that's so important right now, especially too, because just looking at certain work and I'm like, okay, like not only what is your vision for your creative work, but like in a couple of years, are we going to find out that y'all did some shady stuff? Like, you know, like what are your morals and your ideas around diversity and hiring Black people, and how you feel about BLM? Like, it just feels like it's all on the table right now, and everyone needs to just be in line, and it's super important. And I feel like before it was kind of spoken about, but not really, but because everything's getting exposed right now. And so it felt like, kind of, as an artist, it was difficult to kind of come into the room and speak your piece about it, or try to have your part in the interview in that way because you want to work. And a lot of the time you just need to like go to an audition and you need to do your thing and you can't really ask those questions. And so it's not really the easiest thing in the world to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to not do this thing or drop out of this thing, even if it's paying me or even if it seems lucrative on the surface, but is it aligning with really who I am? And that's really hard. So, you know, I applaud you and your courage for just being able to be like, I'm not, I'm not, you know, fully aligned with this anymore. And that's very encouraging because I think that more people need to be doing that. For sure. So what is your vision for your artistic work look like?
So, I'm still like discovering it, but actually the crazy thing is, like, as soon as I left the job, it felt like I was free and I was more creative than ever. And actually, I've been supporting my friends and other company members in that company with their vision. So recently, I wanted to have a really close community in this building I live in, and one of the people I live near is moving away. And she's a Black woman, and I don't know, something about when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's amazing. And so I built just a talking relationship with her. And I heard she was leaving, and I was like, man, I want to just say thank you to her. So me and my partner ended up doing a small dance performance in the hallway right outside of her apartment building to Roberta Flack's Bridge Over Troubled Water. We wrote down determinations and intentions and how we wanted other people to feel when they saw it. We made a big poster, we put it outside the hallway. Other people that came made sure they wore their mask. And we prayed before we went out. And something my partner reminded me of, she said, it seems like you really want to do dances that mean something. So how about you put a meaning behind this? So we have created a performance series for our community. Right now, it's for our apartment building. We actually have a show tonight at 8 where we present art based in improvisation, but structured improvisation. So we have intention, we have a song, we plan out our costumes, we plan out our site specific, we make sure we promote it. But the idea is that we dedicate each performance to something or to someone. We collectively unite around intention for the performance. And then one of us takes the lead to structure it, meaning like, okay, we're gonna stand here at this point. We're gonna walk here at this point. You're gonna take this section. When this happens, you go here. Structure it in that way, but really just open our spirit to whatever comes and whatever needs to come for the audience who's watching it. And I make sure that I chant. So I chant about each person who's gonna watch this. I chant about their absolute happiness. I chant that whatever they need to get from it, they gonna get from it. And that I am being used as a vessel and that I'm being used to do what needs to be done so that like the world ultimately can be a better space. These people can walk away from this performance and just feel uplifted and take that into their next communities. So the art I want to create, I want it to be that. And I also want it to be, what's the word? Tangible or universal. I like being able to dance with the people in my building, like the people who are the doormen and the maintenance men. We were doing ballet in the lobby the other day. We were like doing first position and second position. And I like being able to bring dance to them because dance can seem so far away. And it also can seem like you're not enough for it. Like I'm watching a lot of dance shows now where people are like doing backflips and like their legs up here. And I'm just like, wow, I can't do any of that. But I really love to dance. And I love the way it feels when my body moves. And everybody who watches me seems to enjoy it too. So I just want to be able to bring dance and this art and this spiritual experience to people I'm just interacting with on a daily basis. And I plan to do that here as long as I'm in Dayton, but then also wherever I go, because I feel like everybody needs all of this goodness that comes from art, that comes from humans, that comes from our bodies just moving like this. Like, I just feel like I want everybody to have all of that. So making it accessible to everybody. And actually, I will say that's the mission of the company I was in just now, to make dance accessible to others. But it took me getting away from it to actually see it and see that I did align with that. Interesting.
That is interesting. Maybe maybe there are other parts of it that you weren't in alignment with, perhaps. Making dance accessible and uniting around intention. Yeah, that's a dope vision now. Is this so this show are you gonna record it? Like how can we see it? You gonna let us know? Okay. But we can't come live, right?
Not yet, but my partner Countess wants to live stream the next two. So I'll make sure to send those out.
Yes, please. The people want it. I am people. Okay. So amazing. All right. So let's see. Let's talk about queerness a little bit. Yeah, since we're here. And do you feel that being a queer person does or does not inform the work that you do?
Does.
Tell us more. How does it?
Yeah. Yo. I mean, it seems like now that everything is going on in the world and the people in every community have fought so hard over so many years that it seems like things are really coming to fruition for all of us, Black, Latinx, Indigenous people, queer people, people who happen to be white and people who are white. Like, we're all just like starting to really love who we are and starting to love each other. And to me, that's what my queerness feels like. It feels like fully loving myself. And then, I'm a woman. I got the woman body parts. It feels like that. I love women, and that is fully me. And being who I fully am is sometimes expressed with an androgynous energy, a masculine energy, a feminine energy. And dance is all of that, because dance is an expression of life, and so is art. And I've gotten the opportunity to do so many roles. I've been in this company for 4 years, and I've been a soloist every year. I've been in every show every year. I've been in multiple pieces every year. And I believe it's because of me allowing myself to access all the parts of myself that are being asked to bring out in these different pieces. And rather like, okay, only this feminine person can do this part, or only this aggressive and masculine person can do this part. It's like, oh, well, now I got all of that, so she can do all this stuff. So it feels like the more I allow myself to be fully expressed, the more I can tap into other things that are required of me, that are required of this part of me or that part of me or that part of me. So definitely it is involved. My queerness is involved, and I try my best to express it. I also love letting people know that I am queer and I'm a part of the LGBTQIA+ family. I got rainbows all over the place. I got rainbows behind me, all in my car. I just want people to know that this is what's happening here. And it also just feels good. It feels like, oh, those are my colors. I got rainbows on my windows. So yeah.
I dig it so much. I love the massive amounts of rainbows that you have. It's so great. Do you have a rainbow in your watch? No.
I do.
Oh.
I don't have it on now, but I do have a rainbow watch band. Yes.
Well, I knew you did. That's why I said that. Okay. I feel like the theme this week for events is like this idea of being fully expressed. And I'm going to mention her again, but 2 days ago on Wednesday, Kristani said, I wrote it down, where is it? It's here. She said, it is a more fulfilling life to be fully self-expressed. And I was like, okay, like, yes, that part, that part, absolutely. And I think it's hard to get there. And I also don't think there's like a full stop to it and the evolving, but I don't know what it is like in other sectors of work, right? In other kinds of work, but it feels like when being an artist, it's so important to be fully experiencing yourself all of the time. It's hard to kind of just like cut off certain parts, because then it feels like, well, for me, I would say it feels like being dishonest in my work, or like I'm not breaking through into a character because I'm not allowing myself to do something. That whole getting in your own way sort of thing. So I appreciate that being reflected again this week. I feel like it's probably going to happen again on Sunday, so I'm just going to call it now. So I guess lastly, Nile, and you've been so great. It's been so great. What hopes do you have for your creative work in the future, apart from, the vision and the artistic vision that you have? And I know you were telling us about your shows. Is there anything else you want to tell us about 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 your work and what you want to do, or what you envision for yourself?
Yes, I made a bucket list. I'm trying to fulfill it. I made it a long time ago, but I do want to. I don't want to get caught up in what I should be doing, because I went to where I should be going and my spirit was destroyed. And I want to make sure that I want to do what I want to do. I want to travel the world. I want to go to Cuba, Brazil, Amsterdam, Japan, the continent.
So
and I just want to.
Can I ask what should you be doing right now, quote unquote?
Oh, I feel like I should be, as a Black dancer from Washington, D.C., trained in the Horton dance technique and trained in ballet, I should be trying to dance with Adobuere Ebiama, American Dance Theater, which is a beautiful company. And I still have, I can't figure out if that like is what my heart wants to do, or if that's what I've been told I want to do. Because it still feels like that's sitting in me as a desire, but I can't figure it out. Because I went there and I felt destroyed. Like just, and it wasn't that people were bad or mean. It was just something about whatever I felt while I was there. It felt like, oh no, Nile, let's take this away, and then you can be accepted. So that's what I feel like I should be doing. But I want to go somewhere. I want to study Latin dance. I also want to figure out how the heck to be a break dancer, because I think that's cool. But I also am interested in politics, and I feel like we all like this. I don't know if y'all know about the Justice Democrats or a lot of the grassroots politics organizations that are around that have helped get like people like AOC into office. But I just feel like there needs to be more everyday people standing up for each other in those spaces. So I'm interested in that. I'm interested in learning a lot of different languages, and I feel like I'm so rooted in art and dance that I can bring that to spaces, or just bring that spirit to spaces. And I just feel like people connect in dance and in art that may not otherwise connect. So I feel like that would be an avenue for me to be democratic or diplomatic. So my vision is around like politics, linguistics, justice reform. I got arrested at the Dayton protest for Black Lives Matter. So I got a little bit of a piece of what it's like to be in jail for a few hours. Not fun. So I want to shift that. But I also definitely want to be able to bring dance to and art to communities that may not otherwise get it. My dad just joined.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
You have an incredible daughter.
Oh, thank you so much.
I mean, I'm
Yes.
sure you knew that already, but
Yes. From the day she came into the world.
she was like, boom, I'm here. What's up? I believe
Exactly.
it.
It's
Yes.
been a process.
Yes, well. Okay, now, so if anyone has any questions or anything they want to say, please feel free to um, throw it in the chat, unmute yourself. We got a few minutes.
Can I ask Nile, this is her mom, can I ask Nile to talk about what some of her dance inspirations have been, or who, if there are other dancers or if there are just things in the world that have inspired her own brand of dancing?
Okay. Yes. Well, so my mom, the woman who just spoke, she always took me to a lot of dance shows in the DC community, at the Kennedy Center, at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And she always made sure I saw dance with people that looked like me, saw dancing people that looked like me. So mom, urban bush woman, definitely Alvin Ailey. There's an organization called the International Association of Blacks in Dance. It was started by 5 women, Black women that run dance companies. So Dallas Black Dance Theater, Dayton Contemporary Dance Theater, Philadelphia, people from those places. But also definitely just the culture of ballet, where it was started, how it was started, that always inspires me. And then now it feels like I'm getting more inspiration from the people around me, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my friends, Adobuere, Caitlin, Genevra, my partner, the people who live in my building. Also, I've been in an African American psychology class, so I'm learning more about Black revolutionaries. So they are inspiring me. I've been listening to Rachel Maddow and Today Explained. Everything that happens on there is inspiring me. So all those things.
I have a question. Could you relate, and if you haven't already done so, a little bit about your experience with Conqueron and African dance, and also the dance company you were part of at Dance Place?
Oh, yeah. So I was with Conqueron West African Dance Company growing up. It's a West African dance company based in DC. And then I transferred over to Koyaba Dance Theater. Conqueron was run by a Black man from Senegal, I believe, named Hassan Conte. And then Koyaba Dance Theater was run by Sylvia Suma and Marcia Howard, which are women, African American women born here in America. I just felt like they gave me rhythm. They gave me grip. And they always put the little kids on stage and always had them learn these pieces, and we would just be out there dancing. And African dance is polyrhythmic, and the drummers, it was a synchronicity between the drummers and the dancers. So I think that taught me a lot about unity, because you have to, even though you're in the midst of like, wow, breaking it down, you have to listen for this thing called the beat, which sounds like, it always sounds like something like that. You have to listen to that. So I think growing up, learning West African dance and being trained in it taught me about unity and keeping my ears and eyes open, even when I'm like completely involved in something in front of me, just being aware of everyone else who's involved in it. And also, I think it taught me about my sensuality, because when women dance, especially West African dance, they want you to be fully who you are. Like, use what your mama gave you, your mama Africa, your hips sway side to side. And it taught me that, I have this, I can use it, and I got really comfortable inside of that. So
It definitely
thank
shows,
you,
Nile. Your movement, as we saw, is so expressive and like full body and beautiful.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nile, it's so cool to see you and your work, and it's just so nice. And I love to dance. It's one of my favorite hobbies. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm curious about the intentions that you've set for your next performance and maybe the ones thereafter, but maybe you only have the ones that are the one that's coming tonight or something.
Yes. So actually, my partner Countess just got here. We're about to get ready. We have a few more minutes before we collaborate. So far, today is Countess's dad's birthday. I believe he's turning 64, so we're dedicating it to him. Also, a man in my building, a maintenance man. He's been working here for 20 plus years. He is retiring today, and he usually gets off at around 5, but he's coming back for performances at 8 to see it. So another dedication is going to be to these Black men that run the building behind the scenes. Also, there's a part in the show where we're using this poem that my partner found on YouTube called "When a Black Man Walks," and the very last line talks about when a Black man walks, listen, because it might be the last time you hear him walk. And we're just also dedicating it to all the people, Black men, Black women that have passed out of not being recognized, not their value not being recognized, they're fully seen, and their connection to that person who caused them to pass not being seen by the other person. So far, that's it. And then also, I love a lot of, especially dating people, but everybody has been cooped up in the house, may not have had a time to like move or see live dance. So we just also have the intention of lifting people's spirits and just like dusting it off a little bit, dusting their spirits off a little bit. Yeah.
Dusting off the spirits. Yes, we all need that right now. I know it. Okay, thank you guys for your questions and for just being here and holding space with us, for us, with each other. Thank you so much, Nile.
Thank you, Adobuere.
Thank you.